How can we talk to progressives about weapons without it being a big old fight? Without the progressives digging in their heels, insisting we got to get rid of the guns and have more laws, while on the right we dig in our heels and say, hey, you leave my Second Amendment rights alone. And we never seem to be able to come together on the issue. Rick Thomas, writing about these subjects of guns, I believe, helps us to help the progressive understand the real issue. This is what Rick wrote. The assumption is if you controlled all inanimate objects capable of being used to hurt someone, then the problem would be solved, says the left. Get rid of the cause of the violence. In this case, the cause is guns, because we're now talking about gun violence rather than human violence. That is why they arrive at their solution. They think that the evil participant in the crime with a firearm is the gun itself and not the person. That's really the divide here, isn't it? We know the real violence comes from a sinful heart, not a sinful gun. The gun is merely the instrument from which a violent man could carry out his violent actions. An inanimate object has no ability or power to harm anyone if a sinner chooses not to harm someone. Isn't this reasonable? Isn't this hopefully common sense? Isn't this something that we might be able to bring to the discussion to maybe find ourselves some common ground? Helping the progressives understand the nature of sin, the nature of depravity, and man's big problem, which is our rebellion. We are inclined to evil. And I think the reason that they don't want to go there is because it's an admission that people can and are bad, and that there is only one solution. And it's not more gun laws. Rick Thomas wrote, if the cultural gun control evangelist was arguing the case back in Cain and Abel's day, he would push for rock control or stick control or whatever the object Cain used to kill his brother. Does that make any sense? God did not call the rock to task. Instead, he called Cain to give an accounting. And of course, we all know what his parents did after Cain killed Abel. That's right, they raised Cain. I snuck it in. More Rick Thomas. The gun control people move the problem to the gun with hardly any mention of the real culprit. If the assailant were alive today, he would stand trial for his hate crime. His pistol or assault rifle or whatever would not stand trial. There is only one culprit in this morality play, the assailant. He was the free moral agent who chose to pick up an inanimate object to kill human beings. My progressive gun control friend, can we agree on this? Can we recognize that I could pick up this table if I had any muscle mass whatsoever, and I could drop it on a child and kill the child? The table isn't to blame. I would be to blame. My progressive friend, doesn't that make sense? Maybe this will. Banning every possible object that can be used to hurt someone doesn't make sense when the hearts of fallen people are always set on evil. When we have bad people, which we always will for as long as there are people, we'll use whatever. Do you remember the fellow who went to shoot the American Idol girl? He brought guns, but he also brought a machete. Do you know in China, when somebody goes on a rampage, they tend to use a sharp blade for mass killings? So we should now ban steak knives. If we do that, then we'll have to ban rocks, slingshots, spears, you name it. In fact, I'll keep naming it. We'd have to ban this chair, because I could pick this thing up and just whack somebody with it and inflict harm. When do we stop? The answer for the gun control evangelist is you can't. You can't stop. You have to outlaw everything if you are going to make the premise of your argument that guns are the problem and people are not the problem.